Now at 5, the 100th birthday of a historic Route 66 bridge. Plus, just in time for Christmas, the Salvation Army distributes the gifts donated through its Angel Tree program. And
Colorado Republicans are threatening to switch to a caucus system to choose Donald Trump as the Republican presidential nominee. I'm Skyler Henry in Washington, detailing the move and how it could impact the 2024 election.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Galena, Kansas arrest a 19-year-old after a 17-year-old is shot.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Happened just after 9 p.m. last night. Authorities say they responded to a home about a call of a teen with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. The victim was taken to the hospital. During the investigation, a 19-year-old who lives in that same home was arrested. At last report, no formal charges had been filed. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, another relatively mild day across the region for us today. High temps right around 60 degrees once again. It was breezy. We've had those southerly winds kind of kicking in that 10 to 20 mile per hour range. Looks good. A lot of traffic outside right now. 56 in Joplin. Pittsburgh is sitting at 55 degrees, and most of us across the board are checking in into the middle 50s, and that's what we're going to see this evening. Now, it's going to stay breezy. The winds are going to diminish a little bit, but still winds tonight, tomorrow, even into Friday are going to be out of the south at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. A lot of clouds. Our next little wave building down through parts of New Mexico. This is going to head toward us over the next 24 hours. Now, this evening, we're dry, but we're going to be talking about that rain increasing across the region, all coming up here in a bit.
See you soon. Look at this, Rainbow Bridge on historic Route 66. It's celebrating 100 years today. Brush Creek Bridge in Cherokee County is the only remaining Marsh Arch Bridge on Route 66. Marsh comes from James Marsh, the designer of the bridge. It was built 3 years before Route 66 was established. 60 years later, it was listed in the National Register of Historic Places. In the early 90s, a new bridge was built just to the east of the Brush Creek Bridge to accommodate the increasing needs of local traffic.
People get to Baxter Springs and realize they've missed it, and they've gone looking for it just because they have to have that picture.
Folks here at the store will come in and they'll ask us, where's the bridge? They want to go see the bridge, and so we give them the directions and say how to get to the bridge. Of course, they've got guidebooks, but sometimes it's nice to get directions.
Now in 2026, Route 66 itself will be the one celebrating 1 century. According to the Baxter Springs Heritage Center and Museum, the hope is to have the bridge painted for the centennial. We're going to have much more on the history of this bridge tonight at 6. The Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton counties today handed out some of its donations from its Angel Tree program. That program allows people to anonymously buy gifts for families in need. 1,400 local kids will receive gifts through that program. Yesterday, they distributed them in Carthage. Today, they handed them out in Joplin.
Good to help people and give back to the community, and around the Christmas time, and everybody gets to spread Christmas cheer and give their gifts to people in need that don't have a lot of money around the holidays.
Salvation Army is going to finish its distributions tomorrow in Neosho from 10 a.m. to noon at the Canopy on 100 North College Street. The Colorado Supreme Court has dealt former President Donald Trump a legal blow after declaring he is ineligible to be on the state's primary ballot and is ineligible to be president. The move sets up a legal challenge and will make its way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Reporter Skyler Henry has more.
The Colorado Republican Party says it's pulling out of the primaries and will hold a caucus instead. It's a reaction to the Colorado Supreme Court ruling that former President Donald Trump is ineligible to run again in the Centennial State, citing the Constitution's insurrection clause, which states that no person shall be able to hold office if they have engaged in an insurrection or rebellion.
Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis.
Trump's primary opponents say the left are trying to rig the election.
They're doing all this stuff to basically solidify support in the primary for him, get him into the general, and the whole general election is going to be all this legal stuff.
Trump is planning to appeal the decision to the highest court in the land.
We're likely to get a decision from the United States Supreme Court sooner rather than later.
President Biden said he would not comment on pending court cases, but he had no problem weighing in on one of the central questions of the case.
Is Trump an insurrectionist, sir?
Well, I think certainly it's self-evident. You saw it all. Now, whether the 14th Amendment applies, I'll let the court make that decision. But he certainly supported an insurrection.
Trump's actions on January 6th are at the center of a federal court case scheduled to go on trial in March. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
In announcing its intention to appeal the Colorado Supreme Court's decision, the Trump campaign called the ruling, quote, completely flawed. The head of the nation's Border Protection Agency says his officers are now facing a serious challenge because of the spike in migrant crossings at the southern border. Agents processed more than 10,500 migrants along the southern border yesterday alone. That marks a second straight day of more than 10,000 apprehensions and is way up from an average of 6,000 a day in October. A little later, holiday travel savings.
Millions of Americans are hitting the road to reach their Christmas destination. I'm Cristian Benavides with how many are finding a gift at the gas station.
And next in Health Watch, a Hollywood actress is speaking out to erase the stigma surrounding overactive bladder. Topping today's Health Watch, the CDC says COVID cases are on the rise in the U.S. just in time for the holidays. Health officials say the spike is being driven by the subvariant JN1, responsible for about 15 to 29% of new infections across the U.S. The fast-growing strain has been deemed a variant of interest by the World Health Organization. It's a condition many might not like to talk about, but overactive bladder, or OAB, affects millions of adults in the U.S. While it's most common in people 65 and older, it can also affect younger women, including Hollywood actress Holly Robinson Peete. Mandy Gaither has more on why this star wants to erase the stigma around OAB.
She's known for her roles on screen, but Holly Robinson Peete is taking on a new part as advocate for those who suffer from overactive bladder.
These symptoms were really keeping me from doing the life that I do on a regular basis.
Peete says she was diagnosed with OAB about a year and a half ago after struggling with symptoms.
I was just experiencing frequent urination, usually 8 or more times in 24 hours.
Other OAB signs include a sudden urge to urinate that's difficult to control, unintentional loss of urine, and waking up more than 2 times in the night to urinate. Health experts say it's not just a normal part of aging.
At first, the idea of having this initial conversation with my doctor felt a little embarrassing. But once he diagnosed me with OAB, it opened up a whole slew of questions I was able to ask. And this was great because I was able to say, okay, so how do we treat this?
Treatments include healthy lifestyle choices such as limiting caffeine and alcohol, and nerve stimulation. Medication can also be prescribed. That's what helped Peete.
I had to remind myself that seeking help is a step towards taking control and listening to your body and openly sharing with your doctor about what OAB symptoms you're experiencing, how they may disrupt your everyday life, and you're not alone.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Mayo Clinic says healthy lifestyle choices might also reduce risk of OAB. That includes maintaining a healthy weight, staying active, not smoking, and managing chronic conditions like diabetes. A drug commonly used to help treat diabetes might help keep women's weight off after they stop smoking. It covers all three. The drug is sold under the name Trulicity, and a new analysis finds both men and women have less weight gain after using it. The results were more significant in women, who are 5 times as likely as men to gain substantial weight after they quit smoking. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our Pet Vet On Call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about leaving cookies for the reindeer.
And rain chances really increasing as we go through the next few days. We're going to check that out coming up. Well, fairly mild day for us today. Of course, a lot of clouds and it was breezy, but still temperatures right around 60 for an afternoon high. Now, tomorrow evening is when winter officially begins, 9/27. So this is going to be the shortest day of the year, meaning daylight-wise. You're going to have the same amount of minutes in the day. 9 hours and 36 minutes of daylight for us tomorrow. Then we start going back the other direction, and summer's right around the corner. All right, outside right now, nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. You can see those clouds. Temperature still into the mid-50s. Case in Point 55 and Nevada 54 in Neosho. Chitopa, or actually Oswego at 55, 57 in Welch. Southerly winds been kicking in all day long. It hasn't been too gusty, but these winds 10 to 20, and that's what we're going to see as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Temps will slide back through the 50s eventually, only upper 40s later on tonight, so it's not going to be near as cold. All right, socked in with the clouds. Clouds continue to thicken during the overnight hours. We're waiting for our next wave to roll in. You can see it across parts of New Mexico. Showers, fairly weak wave, but there's a stronger one right behind it. Look out right off the coast of California. This system will roll in just in time for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So it gets kind of active as we go through the next couple days. We'll have some sprinkles tomorrow, but our rain chances really shoot up tomorrow evening. Here's 1 a.m. Friday morning, and then start to taper off as we go into the daytime hours on Friday. All right, let's walk through time. We're going to work back to about 47, 48 degrees tonight. You can see a couple random sprinkles by morning. May get a quick shower. Random hit and miss sprinkles throughout the day. By noon, we're sitting upper 50s to near 60. During the afternoon, much of the same, near 60 across the region with random sprinkles. But look at the rain. Starts to spread in. Here's 9 p.m. Yates Center, Fredonia, Coffeyville, Veneta, all getting into the rain. It gets into southwestern Missouri, especially after midnight. This is going to be light rain, but we're going to have periods of rain. Temperatures sitting into lower 50s. Rain continues. Here's 5:30 in the morning on Friday, and then starts to advance off toward the east as we get into Friday afternoon. But still highs on Friday near 60 degrees. Now the rain's going to be light, but we need it. I think most of us a quarter, maybe upwards to half of an inch in some spots, but we need it, so we'll definitely take it. But let's go down the road because we have that second system. Here's Saturday evening. Look at this. Rain spreads in again. Showers, even thunderstorms on Christmas Eve. Some of those storms could be a little stronger as well. So we have the rain that settles in for Christmas Eve. In fact, let's go down the road. So 60 on Sunday. Good chances for rain. Christmas Day, high 55. Rain as well. Of course, not a white Christmas. Last year we did have one, but on average we only get a white Christmas about once every 5 or 6 years. All right, 60 tomorrow, 58 on Friday, 66 Saturday, 60 on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, high temp 55. A lot of traveling. It's going to be wet, so be careful.
Good advice. Thanks, Doug. Speaking of traveling, just ahead, we're going to look at how gas prices are impacting Americans' holiday travel plans. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Panasonic says it no longer plans to build a facility in Oklahoma. In April, the company said it was exploring building a factory at Pryor's Mid-America Industrial Park. Would have been used to make electric batteries. In July, frog in my throat. They say this week's decision on the Oklahoma facility will not affect the plant in Kansas City. Don't you hate it when that happens? Your voice just goes. Let's have this report from Christian Benavides.
Drivers at gas stations around the country are getting a welcome sight: lower prices. According to AAA, the national average is down about 20 cents a gallon in the past month and about 80 cents since August. A big relief for Julian Bueres, who drives a large truck for work.
Well, this is a 35 gallons, so imagine it goes from $100 a fill-up to $80 a fill-up easily.
The last few years have been a roller coaster ride for gas prices. The national average dropped $1 a gallon from 2019 to April of 2020 during the pandemic shutdowns. It then shot up to more than $5 a gallon in the summer of 2022, and now it's right around $3 a gallon. And experts believe prices could go down even more.
We're seeing the effects of falling oil prices. A lot of that is due to the global economy, which has slowed down.
Analyst Patrick DeHaan says drivers in about 30 states are paying less than $3 a gallon.
Gas prices should remain near these seasonal lows, but we could be on the cusp of getting as good as it gets, at least for now.
He says prices could bottom out in the coming days and then start following a seasonal pattern in the new year.
Are we now returning to normal levels?
We are getting closer. I would think that by mid-February, we'll likely start to see gas prices rising seasonally before a peak that happens in close proximity to Memorial Day.
DeHaan says drivers should enjoy the low prices while they last. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
SiriusXM is being sued for allegedly trapping customers in unwanted subscriptions. It accuses the satellite radio company of forcing its customers to interact directly with an agent to cancel a subscription and then drawing that process out in a strategy to prevent the customer from canceling. New York Attorney General Letitia James alleges SiriusXM trains its agents to not take no for an answer, calling the difficult cancellation process illegal. The largest credit union in the U.S. is facing new scrutiny over racial disparities in its mortgage lending. Class action lawsuit filed this week against Navy Federal Credit Union alleging the lender discriminated against Black and Latino applicants. The investigation found the credit union had the widest disparity in conventional mortgage approval rates between white and Black borrowers of any major lender last year. Our Pet Vet on Call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a special gift for some children in the hospital who can't be home for the holidays. Then on KOAM News at 6, authorities discovered the body of a Berry County, Missouri woman who had been missing for some time. Plus, we're going to have more on the history of Rainbow Bridge in Cherokee County, turning 100 years old today. And it's National Signing Day for college football. We're going to see which local high school standouts are moving to the next level. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. A lot of us will prepare special Christmas season treats for our families and guests, but some visitors might be forgotten, overlooked. Today's question for our Pet Vet on Call: we leave cookies for Santa. What should we leave for the reindeer?
Well, if you are of the health conscious type, then I would probably leave some apple slices and maybe some carrot sticks. But I happen to know for a fact that the reindeer also love cookies. So I would just stay away from the chocolate chip and maybe do something like an oatmeal cookie. They'll love you for it.
There you have it from the expert. We invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. Of course, you can also find answers to previous questions on our website. Check it out. Hey, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week now. From the Joplin Humane Society, we have Pluto, an adult male St. Bernard. Do we have a picture of Pluto? No, apparently not. But from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have a female short-haired cat, 3 years old. Her name is Lovebug. If you're looking for a pet, go to their website. You can see their pictures, and you can adopt a pet from your local Humane Society. You find all sorts of them there. SEK Humane Society, Joplin Humane Society, other humane societies as well have websites and pictures available.
I saw some reindeer in Alaska a few months ago.
Yeah?
Can't remember what they were eating though.
Oatmeal cookies,
Yeah, I guess
possibly.
so. Yeah, maybe.
Not likely, but possible.
All right, weather-wise, it looks pretty good. A lot of clouds for us tomorrow. A few random sprinkles. 60 for a high. Rain moves in tomorrow night into Friday, so that's our next system we got to keep our eyes on.
Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.